Hello, guys. Welcome back. All right. Today we are going to be doing two different assignments. The first one is the introduction of your poetry project that you're going to do. So you are going to be responsible for creating 8 different types of poetry. Okay. So this is the directions for that poetry project. I'm going to go over each of the different types and show you an example so that you can kind of see what each type of poem is about. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Again, you can see here there's 8 different poems that you're responsible for. And you're responsible pretty much to do one a day. Okay, so let's go over each one. Okay, um, the first one is an acrostic. Okay, so this acrostic poem is a poem in which there is a letter on the left margin which forms a word going down in which whatever the poem is about. And again, whatever word that you decide to choose has to be at least 5 lines long. So let's take a look at my collection of poetry. Okay, this is my own example. Again, another thing that you're going to have to do is just create some sort of cover page, okay, which is pretty similar. So let's find the acrostic. This is an acrostic. So here I chose the word Instagram, okay, and then I made a poem about Instagram. Now, when it comes to the acrostic poem, you do not have to worry about rhyming. The only thing is you need to have is the first letter of the word has to spell something out. So notice it spells out Instagram, and then I have my poem. Okay, so that's the acrostic poem. If you want it to rhyme, that's fine. If you don't, it doesn't make a difference. Just make sure whatever your poem is about is spelled out. Okay, that's the first type. The second type is an alphabet poem. Again, you just use every single letter of the alphabet, and it's similar to the acrostic. Right, so let's go down. This is the alphabet poem, right? I start with the letter A, and I end at Z. Now, there's certain letters that are a little bit tough to use, so you have to be a little bit smart about it. It's like the letter X. There's not really too much, so you gotta cheat and use something like extra, extraordinary, something like that. Same thing with Q. Q might not be so easy. So my advice to you when you're doing the alphabet poem is to just tell a story, and you start with the letter A and then you end at Z. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Okay. Again, it's up to you. You can use whatever strategies you want. The second type is a haiku. Okay, so a haiku is a 3-line poem with a total of 17 syllables. Okay, so there's 5 syllables on the first line, 7 syllables on the second line, and then 5 syllables on the third line. And again, generally, haikus deal with nature. So if you look at my example of a haiku, that's down here. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 syllables, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 syllables, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5, 7, 5. Okay, again, syllables are the beats in words. So you think in the blue moonlight, that's 5. Scent of the wisteria, 7. Seems so far away, that's 5, right? So it's 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. And again, this does not have to rhyme, okay? And again, generally, haikus are about nature. Okay, let's go back up. The next type of poem is called a limerick. Okay, a limerick is a 5-line poem, and then it has a rhyme scheme. Remember, rhyme is the end rhyme of words of AA, BBA. Okay, so that's how it rhymes, AA, BBA. So the first 2 lines rhyme with the last line, and then the third and fourth line rhyme. But it also has a certain syllabic pattern. So it has 8, 8, 5, 5, 8 syllables. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Now, limericks are basically, if you think of in terms of nursery rhymes, a lot of nursery rhymes are limericks. So let's see what the type of limerick I have here. Okay, here we go. So again, it's 8, 8, 5, 5, 8. Okay, and it has the first 2 and the last line rhymes, and then these 2 lines have to rhyme. Okay, and if you listen to it, it has a sort of like nursery rhyme feel. So my example here is there once was a guy named Justin. Selena never was trusting. Always a big flirt. Please put on a shirt. See him in his eye, I'd be busting. So it's kind of has like this like nursery rhyme feel to it. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the next one. Okay, a concrete poem is a poem that basically looks like whatever it's about. Okay, so I have this example here of a concrete poem that it looks like the cat. Okay, so I'm probably going to make this poem extra credit just because it's not so easy to do. But for now, If you want to start on doing something like that, that's fine. The next type of poem is an autobiographical poem. It just means it's a poem about yourself. Now, when it comes to the autobiographical poem, again, the only thing I want you to see is that it's 15 lines long. Again, if you want to rhyme, it's fine. If you don't, it's fine. So it just has to be a 15-line poem. And I have an example here somewhere, right here. So I just wrote ideas down. So it doesn't have to follow any pattern. You can use ideas like this. It's up to you. Okay. All right. Now, the next type of poem is a sonnet. Okay, so a sonnet is a 14-line poem. It usually deals about love and romance. Okay. And you can write in a Petrarchan or Shakespearean style. So if you look, I believe, yeah, it's here. Okay, so this is basically the format for how to do a sonnet. I would use this. Okay, so it has to have this rhyme scheme. Okay, so it's A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. And notice it's 4 4 4 2. Okay, so that's the format for that. And again, those lines have to rhyme: the A's, the B's, the C's, the D's. And generally, it's about love, but I'm not going to go too crazy. If your sonnet's not about love, that'll be okay. All right. My example of my sonnet is here, and again, you can take a look at it. All right, and the next one is a cinquain. And now a cinquain, the directions for doing it are right here. Okay, it's a 5-line poem that has 1 word in the first line, 2 words in the second, 3 in the third, 4 in the fourth, and then 1 in the fifth. And it should follow this format. Okay, so you have the first one's a word and it's a noun. The second line is 2 words that describe that noun. The third line is 3 words that are action words, right, showing like verbs. The fourth word is feelings. And then the last word should be a synonym of line 1. Okay, so these are the 8 different poems that you are responsible for. Again, if you have any questions about these, you can send me a message. And again, obviously, these are examples for every single one. And again, the cinquain I have here is right there. Okay, so it looks a certain way. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to look at a couple of poems. What I want you to do is make sure you have this open, right? So pause your video if you need to, and open this. Okay. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to go over this poem. We're going to look at the rhyme scheme of it. We're going to look at what's going on in this poem. And again, we're looking at 2 poems. What we want to look at is who the speaker is. We want to know what they're talking about. We want to know the feel of the poem. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this first one. Okay. So the first poem is called "Be Glad Your Nose Is on Your Face." Be glad your nose is on your face, not pasted on some other place. For if it were where it is not, you might dislike your nose a lot. Imagine if your precious nose were sandwiched in between your toes. That clearly would not be a treat, for you'd be forced to smell your feet. Your nose would be a source of dread, were it attached atop your head. It soon would drive you to despair, forever tickled by your hair. Within your ear, your nose would be an absolute catastrophe, for when you were obliged to sneeze, your brain would rattle from the breeze. Your nose instead, through thick and thin, remains between your eyes and chin, not pasted on some other place. Be glad your nose is on your face. So now, if I'm looking at this poem, you should be noticing that it is very humorous, right? So the intention of this author is to kind of just make you laugh, right, as a silly ideas. Now, what I want to do first is let's take a look at the rhyme scheme. Okay, so we'll do this rhyme scheme together. If this wants to work, which it doesn't. Hold on. Good old computer freezing. All right, here we go. All right, so let's take a look at the rhyme scheme here. The rhyme scheme. So again, I look at the last word in the poem, and I look at the last sound. So the first word, the last word in this first line is face. So I'm looking at that A sound. And again, I start with the first letter of the alphabet, which is A. Okay, so this is going to be A, obviously. Let's put this to the side so you guys can see it. Okay, then I go to the next line, and it is place. So face and place, they rhyme. Ace, same sound, so it's going to be the same letter. Okay, put it in A. So make sure that you are writing the same stuff on your document so that you can use it. Okay, then I look at the next word, which is not. Does not rhyme with face and place. No, it doesn't. So it's going to be the next letter of the alphabet. So I'm going to write that, which is the letter B. Okay, now let's look at the next word, lot. Now, does lot rhyme with face? No, it doesn't, but it does rhyme with not. So it's going to be that same letter. So it's A, B, B. Okay, now I go to the next line. Now again, what I need to make sure I'm doing is making sure does this word rhyme with anything above it? Okay, so the next word is nose. Does nose rhyme with face, place, not, lot? It doesn't. So it's going to be the next letter of the alphabet, which is C. Toes. Does toes rhyme with anything above it? It does. It rhymes with nose, so it's C. Okay, so write that down. Nope. Again, my computer is freezing for whatever crazy reason. All right, the next word is treat. Does treat rhyme with anything above it? It does not. So I put the next letter, which is D. Now I have feet. Feet. Treat. Okay, now I get this next word, dread. Does dread rhyme with anything above it? No, it doesn't. So it's going to be the next letter, which is E. Head. Head rhymes with dread. Good, so I put that. Okay, so it's going to be E. Next word is despair. Does anything up here rhyme with that? No, it doesn't. So it's going to be F. Okay. Now I have hair. Does hair rhyme with anything? Yes, it does. It rhymes with despair. All right, this computer's freezing on me. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see here. Come on. Good old frozen computer. There we go. All right, so it's going to be F. Okay, now I go B. Does B rhyme with anything above it? No, it doesn't. So I'm going to put the next letter, which is G. Fee. Yes, it rhymes with E, so that's G here. Okay. Now I have sneeze and breeze. They don't rhyme with anything above here, so it's going to be H. And this is going to be H. Okay. Thin. Does anything appear thin? Nope. So it's going to be the next letter of the alphabet, which is I. Chin. It's going to be I. And place. Here. Again, this is why you got to be careful. Place and face are up here, so it's going to be the same letter, so I have to put that. It's going to be A. A. Okay. All right. So that's the rhyme scheme for this poem. Okay, so now we got the rhyme scheme done. Let's take a look at the actual poem itself. Again, each one of these things is called a line, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this is a 20-line poem. And remember, these things, which is kind of like our paragraphs, are called stanzas. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stanzas, okay? So we're going to look at the first stanza. Generally, the stanzas are there to like separate ideas from kind of like paragraphs do. All right, so let's read that first stanza. Be glad your nose is on your face, not pasted on some other place, for if it were in a word not, you might dislike your nose a lot. Right, so this first poem is basically saying be happy that your nose is not located somewhere else. Imagine if your precious nose were sandwiched in between your toes. It clearly would not be a treat for you to be forced to smell your feet. Again, they're basically playing out these scenarios about why it's bad. Here you say it's because if you put your nose by your feet, you would smell the stink. If your nose was on your head, it would soon drive you to despair, which is sadness, because your hair would tickle it. Within your ear, your nose would be an absolute catastrophe. So if you put your nose in your ear, for whenever you sneezed, your brain would rattle, right? Obviously bad. And then your nose, instead, through the thick and thin, remains between your eyes and chin, not pasted on some other place. Glad your nose is on your face. Right, so again, the whole purpose of this is just to kind of be like whimsical and funny. All right, let's look at this next poem. Again, both of these poems are by an author named Shel Silverstein, who kind of writes like these children's funny kind of poetry. All right, so again, we're going to read this one time and see what it's about. I am Super Samson Simpson. I'm superlatively strong. I like to carry elephants. I do it all day long. I pick up half a dozen and hoist them in the air. It's really somewhat simple, for I have strength to spare. My muscles are enormous. They bulge from top to toe, and when I carry elephants, they ripple to and fro. But I am not the strongest in the Simpson family, for when I carry elephants, my grandma carries me. Again, this is another example of a somewhat whimsical poem, right? So it's just trying to be humorous. All right, so let's do what we did before. Look at the rhyme scheme itself. Okay, so this first one is going to be A, right? Because you always start with the first letter. The Strong and Simpson rhyme ong, un. No, not really. Okay, so that's going to be the next letter of the alphabet. So this one's B. Okay, let's take a next one. Elephants, ants, ong, un. No, doesn't rhyme, so it's going to be the next letter. This will be C. Okay. Strong and long, does that rhyme? It does. So this is going to be B. Okay. Now we see up here we have sun. That is close enough. So this is going to be A. Okay. Air. Does air rhyme with anything above it? Sun, ants, doesn't. No, it doesn't. So it's going to be the next letter of the alphabet, which is D. Okay. Bull, ants, no, nothing. So this is going to be the next letter, which is E. Okay. Now we're going to go here to the next one. So air. It rhymes with that. So it's going to be D. Okay. Us, and anything above up here. So rhyme? No, there's nothing. So it's going to be F. And again, what I'm doing is I'm putting the next letter of the alphabet. So it wouldn't be E because E was used already. So I have to go to the next letter. So it's F. Toe. Does toe rhyme with anything above here? Sun, ants, doesn't know. So it's going to be G. Unts. Yeah, I used elephants already, so I go back. It's going to be C. Okay. Fro. Does fro rhyme with anything above it? It does. It rhymes with toe, so this is going to be G. Okay. But I am not the strongest. No, nothing. So it's going to be H. E. M-E, nothing above here. So nope. So it's going to be I. Okay, now I have elephants again. Elephants is C. And do I have anything that rhymes with me? Yes, I do. Family. So that's going to be I. All right. So now we're done with that. We've got the rhyme scheme here. Now, again, what I want you to pay attention to is certain things that we can notice about this poem. Again, when you're looking at poetry, you want to kind of make sure that you're looking for figurative language. You're looking for images. You're trying to like paint pictures. That's basically what poetry is. It's just trying to create a nice like an image in your brain. So if I look at this first line and the second line, there's something going on here. It says, "I am super Samson Simpson. I'm superlatively strong." What you should be noticing is a type of figurative language. It starts with the letter A. What's that called? Yep, that's alliteration, right? So you see the S sound repeating. Okay, let's keep going here. So again, this author's being just very hubris, right? And again, you see some more alliterations going on down here even. All right, keep going looking at this. Again, I see still some alliteration down here. All right, now, what you should be noticing is that the author here, the poet, is trying to make you laugh by saying how strong this person is, but in the end, the strength is outweighed by their grandmother carrying them, okay? All right, so what I want you guys to do now is you're going to be going on to Socrative. You have some questions about that poem. Again, remember the code is 2037AEC7. You have 10 questions about these two poems. When you're done with that, I want you to choose one of these types of poems, and you're going to start doing your poetry project. Okay, again, this is the poetry project isn't going to be due until next week and maybe potentially even later than that. But this questions on Socrative have to get done today. All right, that's it, guys. Have a wonderful day.